Whoa. That was a little louder than I was prepared for. A little bit louder. Anyway, I'm going to leave this vibe for a minute. What's up, guys? We're back. Mike Frank, Heather Kelley, coming to you, two Baltimorons today, talking a little bit about Gen Z advantage.
What is the Gen Z advantage, you may ask?
I also was like wildly shocked. The Wall Street Journal did a article about the Gen Z advantage in today's marketplace. And it talked a little bit about like, Gen Z has invested more into rental value by way of like $145,000 before their 30th birthday.
That's insane.
And by contrast, millennials had $127,000 average, so $18,000 less. So we would say like, oh, wow, rental values have gone up by 10% in one generation. That's a crazy number. But the article was predicated on the idea that the earnings potential for Gen Zers is significantly higher. I don't know the truth in that statement, but it was the predication of the article.
I feel like potential is different than numbers across the board.
Why does my phone keep ringing? Just got to turn it off. I agree. I think that the potential is greater does not equal everyone makes more money. And that's the real problem in today's market, right? Like the real challenge is that teachers are still making teacher wages and the guy at the subway is, still dealing with subway wages. And the rental potential, the income potential is certainly vastly wild, but it doesn't impact the everyday worker.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was an interesting perspective. And then Liv had mentioned that there were a lot of people online reading the online article that were just upset about it. Like they were frustrated. They were saying that it's not accurate. It doesn't make home buying as accessible as it should be. And while I don't disagree with that, I mean, the numbers are the numbers.
Yeah.
It was also interesting to think about we're getting to this point where renting could be more advantageous in certain marketplaces. Okay.
Are you saying that in congruence with a couple of weeks ago's podcast talking about the 30-year averages for rental costs versus owning costs? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think that we in Baltimore, predominantly, it's going to be more effective to own versus rent, especially when you look at the long-term impacts, the tax write-offs, the liabilities, the equity gain, so on and so forth. But the example in this article talked about in San Jose, I think it was, in San Jose, it's one of the most expensive cities in the country, whether renting or buying, but renting made far more valuable logic in that community. I don't think we're there in Baltimore by any stretch of the means, but I think there are areas of Maryland where people really want to be, a high desirability rate. It may cost more to own in those communities than it would to rent. And we're not talking like the monthly payment. We're talking the cost of carrying.
Yeah.
So some of the areas that may make sense would be like Annapolis, I could imagine. If you did, Annapolis proper, it probably costs more to own than it does to rent. Yeah. But you're doing it for the long-term equity build. So yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. It's an interesting thought. As a Gen Zer, how do you feel it impacts the ability to make a home purchase?
I'd say the biggest holdback that I see across the board is the closing costs, the amount that it's going to take to get to the closing table, and then people's credit. I don't think that we were raised with the same ideals in credit. I don't think that we were taught the same way when it comes to credit. And so I think it's literally just the cost to get into the home. And especially as things are getting pricier and interest rates are rising and home prices are rising, et cetera, that's the bigger barrier that I'm seeing. Because a lot of the times, especially in my buyer consultations, we have the discussion of what's a comfortable monthly payment, and you're looking to keep it about what your rent is anyway.
Right.
So on a monthly scale, I haven't noticed that it changes too much. But when it comes to the upfront costs and getting in there, I've seen that be the biggest holdback.
I totally agree. I think you also mentioned it, like, we're not taught to manage debt in a different way. Wasn't it you that was on the podcast a couple weeks ago and we were talking about like the crime of debt in this country, like the idea that we're just taking on debt because we have to not keep up with the Kardashians, but we have to go out to that brunch and we have to do that thing.
And the fast fashion and
Right.
I saw this thing, I forget where I saw it. I think it was like 2 weeks ago, but it was talking about how trends for clothes and styles and things like that are at such a rapid rate of change that before, when normally we would see like 14-year turnaround for like the life cycle of fashion,
Oh, shit.
that now it's coming down to like 3-4 years, like
So
until
like,
it's completely dead. So
bell
it's the
bottoms will come back
consumerism.
in.
Exactly. The consumerism is at such a higher rate than
Yeah.
it has ever been. And so that feeds into we all have to keep up with the Ks and buy more avocado toast and do brunches with the girlies. And I obviously have to have a nice car. Otherwise, my job in marketing
Right.
is null and void.
Well, and it's funny, yesterday we met, or Saturday, I met a couple. She is like an event designer. I don't know how to describe it. Shout out to her. She's got a great business. She designs spaces for events. So if you were to have a venue that you wanted someone to come in and design, and we're not talking just like flowers, we're talking maybe table spaces and backdrops and balloonscapes and, you know, the light up color walls and all the other things, where she's got numbers and, you know, lots of bold incentives, right? She's also charging an arm and a leg for these, you know, services. And I don't want to throw her under the bus. The numbers are crazy to me. Crazy. Like, I would never end up spending this kind of money. How much would you spend on a 30th birthday party for decor? Just for decor, right? Like, you got food and drinks.
I don't think I'm the right person to ask.
Yeah, right. But like, I don't think I am either, right? But you got food and drinks. You've got the venue space itself, and then you've got decor. How much are you spending on decor?
$1,500.
30th birthday.
$1,500.
That's it. Yeah,
I
right.
broke, bitch.
Right. Literally. So
What was the average?
well, for her, she does, you know, $5,000 events.
Okay. Then why is decor not?
We just turn it around. No, like $5,000 decor. Yeah. You need to be able to see this face. There was like a into the microphone over there. Yeah, I mean, and kudos to her, right? The earnings potential is out there. She's making a great living, but her significant other has a great job. He's a creator as well. He's got a great salaried position where he works W-2. He makes a normal income, and they could qualify for a mortgage. I asked him why they weren't ready to buy a house. He said something about his credit. I said, well, what's your credit like today? And he goes, And I'm like, yeah, bro, like, what is your credit? And he's, it's like 645. And I'm like, dude, what is your credit? And the girlfriend said, it's like 730. I'm like, guys, you are well qualified to buy a home and almost qualified enough to take advantage of the grant programs and the down payment assistance things that are out there. You're first-time homebuyers. This is driven for you, right? Like, you guys have a kid, you need three-person household. Like, this is driven for you. So where we ended up, they're looking for a rental property. They need it to be nice. It has to have an open concept. It has to have a large master suite with a soaking tub and a ceiling fan and a balcony and a garage. It's like, for a rental? Like, they're so focused on finding the next big thing that they can't even see through the grass to see the opportunity that's in front of them. They are qualified and ready to go. My fear when I'm looking at these statistics that say that tenants are spending more money by the time they're 30, I get it, but it's because they want to. It's not because they have to. It's not because rental values have gone up. It's because they want to rent at a higher value. They want to rent the luxury apartment with the, you know, built-in waterfall pool, and, you know, on Thursdays they bring in the Taco Tuesday truck and it's free. And you're like, yeah, but you pay $3,400 a month. It's psychotic to me. I remember going from my rental into my first home, and it was literally 3 times as much money every month. I was paying $600, and I bought my first home. It was like $1,600, but it was a big change. But it was a commitment that I made. And now we're not even talking about making that kind of change. We're talking about dollar for dollar the same with the opportunity for future growth versus dollar for dollar the same with material things and value and I'm just going to call them dramatic first world problems. I don't see it where potential Gen Zers have an opportunity because they're used to spending more money. So they're more capable, more qualified to enter in today's market. There are millennials that have still never bought their first home. And they're just not comfortable with their monthly payments, with their expenses. It's just a lack of comfortability. And this article predicates that Gen Zers have the opportunity because they're used to paying more money. And yet they're not taking advantage of it.
That's fair.
Like you said, it talked about grant programs and down payment assistance and the prime that everybody's in, but not wanting to manage their credit, not wanting to manage their capacity, not wanting to save for down payment, wanting someone else to come in and pay their down payment. It's just crazy.
Hard.
I don't know. I think that in the end of the day, we have this kind of like crux that Gen Z holds until we go on to Gen Alpha when they become homeowners. When is Gen Alpha? Is that 2001?
2001.
Is it?
That's kids now. Like, if you know a kid now, they're Gen Alpha.
Well, yeah, but like, are they 23? Are they 20?
I mean, 2001-ish, I don't know, 2002.
Well, so let's say they're
2005.
drinking age at this point,
2005.
right? Like 21 and less.
Yeah.
All right. So they're primed. Gen Alphas are primed to make their first home purchase. What I see is that Gen Zers are going to sit on their rental value and continue to drive the rental market, which is either going to push more people into rent or it's going to drive Gen Alphas to kind of do the opposite. Like watching their older sibling, they're like, you know what, I'm not going to spend all that money on rent. I'd rather buy a house. So one of these two things is going to happen. Gen Zers are going to take advantage of the market, or maybe we'll see the Gen Alphas come back and, you know, make a resurgence in home ownership.
Pop us in the mouth a little bit.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think the biggest thing is kind of taking, I guess, consult into your personal situation. But if I could tell everybody one piece of advice, I say the same thing all the fucking time. Buy the biggest piece of shit you can get your hands on. So if you're spending $3,000 a month, go out and get a $3,000 mortgage that is a piece of junk. I don't care. I don't care that you don't like it. I don't care that it doesn't have granite counters. I don't care that it's not in a pool or doesn't have a community association. I don't care. You're going to spend so much time, effort, and energy going to take advantage of the free things that come with your $3,000 a month mortgage or rental. Whereas you have a $3,000 a month mortgage, you have the potential to build equity in the long run. And if I could do anything differently, it would be buy the biggest cardboard box that I could afford at 18. Because 10 years of appreciation, 10 years of equity, 10 years of principal pay down, I would have had a whole lot more money to put towards my first house versus saving every penny that I had in order to buy my first home.
That's fair.
Mic drop.
Love to hear it.
Love to hear it. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think you summed it all up pretty well.
OMG. Such a quiet day over here. It's very like peaceful here at Frank Oliver Collective. If you guys have anything that you want to know about, you could come to our website at frankoliverco.com. You can always reach me on Instagram at michael.frank___. And I'll talk to you soon.
My number is 443-281-9500, or you can email me at hkelley with an EY at thefrankoliverco.com.
Bringing in the heat at the end. Thank you guys.
Sorry.
What's up, guys? Thanks for watching. For more information on the housing market, Real Estate 101, how you can leverage your position in today's market, and so much more, click on the link below. If you like this video or have a burning real estate question you'd like us to answer, leave us a comment and let us know. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode, and we'll see you again real soon.